Imagine a man who, in a fit of jealousy or fleeting rage, brutally murders his young girlfriend, 7 months pregnant. It's not an accident, nor a desperate defense from imminent danger. It's a conscious choice, an act that shatters not just a life, but an entire family ecosystem. The unborn child, that small being who has already acquired intrinsic value simply by coming into the world, loses its future. The victim's family, parents, siblings, friends, finds itself deprived of affection, moral support, education, and even financial support. In this scenario, equating the killing of an innocent person with the punishment of a guilty person is not only absurd, but offensive to the natural laws of cause and effect. Wishing for the death penalty for a proven murderer after a fair trial and a third-degree judgment doesn't make us like him. It makes us custodians of the balance he shattered. Let's start with a basic premise. Rights are not eternal or unconditional. We are born with an innate value, certainly the right to life, dignity, and protection. But once we reach adulthood, our choices and actions determine whether we retain or lose those rights. It's a principle we already apply in many areas of society. A doctor who commits gross negligence, endangering the lives of patients through carelessness or bad faith, can be struck off the medical register and deprived of his or her right to practice. A parent who abuses their children loses parental rights, with all the legal and social consequences that entails. Why then should we hesitate to apply the same rigor to those who commit the most serious crime, premeditated murder? Prison, in this renewed vision of justice, is not primarily a tool for social reintegration. That concept, while noble in theory, is often an unattainable and non-essential luxury. Not all criminals can or deserve to be rehabilitated, especially when their actions have caused irreparable harm. The true purpose of prison is to restore the principle of justice for victims and their loved ones. The state, as the representative of the community, has a moral and practical duty to support those affected, providing emotional, effective, educational, and financial assistance to fill the void left by the loss of a father, a mother, a son, a brother, a husband. How? Through a system of forced labor for the perpetrator, the compensation for which, if any, is donated entirely to the victim's family. This is not about personal revenge, but about concrete compensation. 20 or 30 years of detention are not a re-education program, but a repaying of debt to those who have suffered the wrong. This approach contrasts sharply with do-goodism 2.0, that hypocritical form of compassion that hides darker interests. Today, under the fig leaf of humanity, perennial excuses are justified, supporting the weak, privileging minorities, welcoming those who are different, forgiving the guilty. But those who truly benefit from this attitude are those who exploit moral decay for personal gain. Politicians seeking votes, entrepreneurs exploiting cheap labor, or even criminal organizations thriving in chaos. In Italy, a country our grandparents rebuilt with immense sacrifice after the Second World War, this do-goodism has led to a void of values that benefits no one, except those who aspire to homogenize the lower and middle classes in order to better control them. Consider the collective delusion surrounding different, a category protected regardless, endowed with privileges mistaken for rights, but devoid of duties. In the name of a misunderstood equality, we ignore that actions matter more than origins, more than skin color. An immigrant who learns our worst traditions, swearing and blaspheming, avoiding hard work, abusing illnesses and injuries, constantly striking, protesting by vandalizing, to name a few, deserves not justifications but responsibility and, with it, consequences. And if he takes on a position of responsibility, he often turns into a tyrant, shouting and threatening without ever lowering himself to menial tasks. It's hypocritical to believe that uncontrolled immigration will solve our demographic or pension problems. On the contrary, it steals opportunities from honest Italians, as in Amazon warehouses, where different people often forcefully impose themselves, blocking those who want to work.